Welcome to AWS Conversations with Leaders. My name is Miriam McLemore and I'm an Enterprise Strategist with AWS and thrilled today to have the opportunity to speak with Roland from AXA Group. Roland, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, Miriam. My name is Roland Scharrer. I'm responsible for emerging technologies and data at the AXA Group. Original background in software engineering and statistics. Worked over 10 years in the innovation space, mainly in consulting, and moved to AXA in 2016, starting in Germany, and then since 2018 in the current role.
Roland, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Could you tell us a little bit more about AXA Group?
AXA, French-based insurer, 100 million customers, operating in 57 countries worldwide, with around 160,000 employees. Majority of the business is in healthcare, life and protection, commercial and retail businesses, serving our customers across the globe.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for your insights that you will share with us today. You know, it's a crazy world that we're living in. And if it teaches us nothing else, it is that the future is not guaranteed and we don't know how things are going to be, whatever that new normal is. And so what do you do with your teams as part of AXA when the future is so uncertain? How do you paint a strategy and a destination for your organization?
In an insurance company, we are used to actually work with predictions and work with the future. Of course, we are in exceptional times. Things have been changed a lot, especially here in Europe and in Asia, and also in the US afterwards. And the way we operate and things that are happening. Protection and healthcare gets more and more important than ever. We as an insurer play a critical role to actually achieve that one and to serve our clients in various countries. Doing that one and serving our purpose as an insurer. The tricky part is really on the one side, our clients need us more than ever. On the other side, we as an organization also faced the COVID crisis by ourselves. Hence, we actually had to also readjust ourselves, went as a full company with more than 160,000 people into full lockdown, working now completely remote since a few months, serving our clients and driving them on forward. When it comes to forward looking, of course, healthcare stays an important topic. And what is clearly happening in that case, that the whole topic on digital transformation gets a greater momentum. It really kicks off now going forward because we cannot serve the client anymore just by having the physical channels. We actually have to work in a digital way and drive the one forward. So this one will stick, healthcare will stick, the digital transformation will stick. But on the other side, you have the financial crisis that, of course, is a big challenge for us. AXA is resilient, is a big company to drive that one forward. We have a resilient balance sheet. But of course, we as an insurer play now in this times a critical role for the society.
Yeah, Roland, I love your perspective of the insurance industry and the need for both agility and resilience coupled together given what we're facing. And you have developed several innovative solutions. Could you share a little bit about that? Things like the fraud detection capability using AI and ML, you know, the B2B2B solution that you have. Could you share a little bit more about those?
Absolutely. First, you have to understand, when you think about an insurance, in the core of insurance, really the heart of insurance, it's in the end data, mathematical models, yeah, you call it nowadays artificial intelligence, and money, capital injection. This is, when you think about the heart of the insurance, really what it's all about, then you come back to that level. And in that case, you're using data, artificial intelligence nowadays, digital processes at large. You actually have to go to that level. The tricky part is you're coming from an industry that started ages ago in that way. So you actually have to drive the transformation forward. And nowadays, what gets more and more important, and this is something what we see as an obligation at AXA, to go from just being the insurance payer, just this kind of financial construct financial institution up to being a real partner for the client. And we see that at large in healthcare. We see that at large in the commercial space, supporting our commercial clients. And we want to serve them quickly. But you have a few things you have to double check. Fraud detection, fraud, waste, abuse in general to drive that one forward. And in that case, you want to have highly efficient processes, like for instance on the piece of fraud detection, if a claim is valid or not. And if you can solve that problem very, very quick and very, very efficient, using the proper knowledge, you can solve your client quicker. You can simply make the payout quicker. You can serve them in the moment of truth, what we call the claim and the topic around that one, because here the client needs us the most. And in that case, we are leveraging, of course, data and artificial intelligence at scale to achieve that fraud detection in a very efficient manner. In our partnership with Uber, we are building, call it the next level of insurances or next generation of insurances. In the past, when you think about insurance, you think about a piece of paper. A piece of paper by an agent that is actually serving you, but you are signing the insurance contract, paying your premium, and you don't hear anything anymore from that agent. So I'm over-exaggerating that topic, but sometimes it's perceived like that from the client. What we do with Uber is actually not having that process, but rather having a deep deep between both parties. I give one example on that one. We are having, within the Uber driver app, a so-called vehicle interruption insurance. A very easy problem that Uber faced during their times. If you're an Uber driver and you have a car crash, of course you're insured by your insurers for the car damage. But you have an income problem because you don't have a car anymore you can drive around, and you're losing really a big part of your income. And with the vehicle protection cover, or the income protection that is behind that one, it insures you exactly in that moment where you cannot drive anymore. But instead of doing that one in a paper-based approach, we integrate it directly within the Uber app. And this is an on-demand concept where you can switch on and off your insurance, and you pay as you go, call it that way, within the Uber app itself. So the driver can switch it on and off for the part he wants to be protected on. And of course, the protection depends really also on what kind of driver you are.
Yeah, I love that example. And I love the concept of on-demand and pay-as-you-go, of course, core to what we do at AWS in providing cloud services. So that type of innovation is so inspiring, but it can be challenging within an established organization to drive kind of that large-scale change. What have you learned in your work to mobilize your team, peers, leaders, the board of directors? What have you done that you think has made it possible for AXA to innovate at speed?
Typical problems. If you want to go in that direction, let's make the example with Uber and the B2B2C insurance. You actually have to have top-level sponsorship. Yes, this is something that is right, and this is what we want to do. So without having a clear sponsorship on top level, forget it. This is something you have to have, and this is the first thing you have to double check. Do I have the management with me? And second, do I really understand the business problem well? In the past, and this is something we all working in the technology space have faced, just talking about technology doesn't solve the business problem, and also doesn't solve the problem for our clients, doesn't solve the problem for our business leaders who want to serve the clients. Hence, you actually really have to understand the problem and drive the one with them. So one thing I always say to my data scientists and my software engineers working on these kind of problems, be curious, understand the business problem, have the business knowledge there, don't hide behind the complexity on technology, really go forward and actually do it in co-creation, drive that one forward. And this is the one thing we really learned in AXA, and we learned it the hard way, that due to call it the global scale and the variety of problems, and you actually have to touch the ground and work hands-on with the business sides in co-creation.
So I very much agree that if you can get that partnership right, you start delivering value very quickly. But I'm sure you also experience some pushback and some challenges in the development and implementation. What did you do to address that pushback?
Biggest pushback you get is by burnt ground. Imagine when you think about technology, it's all over the place. Everybody heard about data, heard about artificial intelligence, digital. If you go 10 years back, it was always all over the place. The tricky part is actually the hype cycle. Because you generate huge hype around that one, and business sponsors are usually jumping quite quickly on these things. They don't know what it is, but they heard about, yes, data is the new oil, so actually we have to do something with data. The tricky part is you have to accept that you have to learn. You hopefully have a steep learning curve, but you have to learn. And hence, you also have to accept failures. You have to accept, okay, we try new things out. You're taking risks, and risk taking means, yeah, okay, it could be a mistake what we're doing, and we have to adjust. And not all organizations and not all business leaders are used to that approach of give it a try. And give it a try in a meaningful manner. Of course, everybody is talking about fail fast, and everybody is talking about disruptions. But in the end, it comes down to does a business sponsor accept, yes, we give it a try, but it could have failed down, and then we try something else and have that kind of mindset.
Yeah, I talked to many customers about a failure culture, and they, as you said, nod their heads and say, of course, they agree intellectually, but making it happen. Because many people are comfortable with somebody else failing, but not their team or their organization or themselves. And so it does take fortitude to move to that culture. I often describe it as, it's like starting a new exercise program. You've got to start small and build new muscle for this type of culture. And one of the things we think about at Amazon is an idea of innovation Darwinism, right? Only the strongest ideas survive. And I think that might be a parallel to your comments around AXA's approach to, don't get so attached to some of these ideas and concepts, because if we're going to be agile, we have to move with whatever the opportunity is or the challenge is very, very quickly. And that speed and pace of change is a challenge for organizations often. And so my question to you is, how do you motivate your team? Because it's hard to always lean into this constant change.
Explore with them the vision, really build with them the vision together and embark them on that journey. It's easy said, but it's hard done, because to really have a team that is fully engaged, saying, yes, we believe in that topic and we want to drive that one forward, and we to not be anxious about taking or tackling complex problems is something you have to embark them on. And then, of course, empower them in product teams to have all the means to actually deliver, give them the freedom to deliver. As a manager, help them to unlock roadblockers, to bring the roadblockers all the way that they can deliver properly. And then, of course, celebrate successes, but also be modest and do that one in the co-creation mindset that we are facilitating and also promoting.
So Roland, the innovation is great, but these are challenging times that we're living in. And so how are you balancing the investment in innovation and the cost efficiency of IT, and making sure that your teams are being great financial stewards as well?
Absolutely. It's a tricky question. It's hard debates every day on that topic. In general, we have a principle called 40-40-20 when it comes to the investments. And this is what we are applying currently across the globe for all our operating companies. 40-40-20 means that we're investing 40% in running the shop and incremental improvements, 40% in transforming the existing way of doing business, and 20% we are spending on new kind of innovations looking forward. This is the usual principle what we apply, and we're going forward with our operating companies, because sometimes you have in one or the other entity a specific problem, a specific situation. So it's a guidance, not a hard cut rule, because you really have to apply that one. But when you look about the COVID crisis, even myself was saying, hey guys, nice that you're doing innovation, but having now proper digital customer experience, having the workplace digitalized and being able to work completely remote with more than 160,000 people, and having probably the security setups properly in place as well, because you had during the COVID crisis also a few people that tried phishing attacks. It's something that is very crucial. So even myself said, okay, let's reduce for now the innovation portfolio. So it's even if it's 40-40-20, maybe another paradigm makes also sense. So it has to be always a healthy balance between short-term, mid-term, and long-term investments to drive them forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure your business very much appreciates your understanding of getting that balance right and adjusting as you go. I think too often companies get very prescriptive and locked into a model, and it requires agility and trust within your organization to allow people to adjust the model as needed based on the situation they find themselves in, but not letting go of any of the levers. So, Roland, you have a huge responsibility at AXA Group and a very successful leader. If you could step back and think about when you started your career, what advice would you wish you had gotten when you were starting out early?
Don't fall in love with technology. As crazy as it sounds, this is one of the topics, especially when you come from the technology area. This is kind of understanding you have to get by a certain stage. As I said at the beginning, I started as a software engineer, data scientist in that space. Of course, you have that proper expertise on that level, and you are too quickly falling in love with the technology and you try to sell technology internally, and this is something you have to stop immediately. This is the one thing that hinders the adoption of great ideas, because you're coming always with the technology angle. Try to understand the business. Try to understand that one as soon as possible. Be knowledgeable about the topic. Could be marketing, could be in our case in risk management, understanding the problems at the ground, and going forward in that direction is key. And I learned it the hard way. This is something I appreciate more and more, and doing more and more. So besides being knowledgeable in technology, being knowledgeable in marketing, in healthcare, in what is happening out there is even as important as being an expert.
Yeah, it's we would often talk about it's wrong to have a solution that you're going out and seeking a problem that solution might solve. And, I love the approach at Amazon, because we always start with a customer value statement and work backwards from that, not with the product or service and what can it solve. So getting your conversation right, understanding the opportunity or the business gap, and working backwards to figure out how do you solve for that. So Roland, thank you so much for your time and insights today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you much. Thanks for having me. Thank you.